Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboy Sports Report. It is victory number 2 seed Monday, about 1:46 Central Time, my time. Very rarely do I have time to do a video during the daytime. I was trying to do a live show a few minutes ago, but when your channel's still small, doing a live show could be a hit and miss type deal. One live show could be really good, and the other one could be crickets, where you're talking to yourself for 15 minutes like I just was. So I decided to shut that down, do a regular video. We are the 2 seed. We will host the Packers in our revenge game, and that will be Sunday, 3:25 Central Time, my time. In the game, we are favored by 7.5. This show is up and growing. If you don't know me, Charles is my name. Hence Charles in Charge Cowboy Sports Report. 37 years old. First game I saw was Super Bowl 28. Yeah, all the way back then, the 93 season. First time I ever saw the Cowboys was in that game. For some reason, I fell in love with the team. I have no idea why. My dad hated Dallas. He was going for Buffalo. I fell in love with the Cowboys. And we won 30-13, and ever since that night, I've bled blue and silver. My bloodline changed, and I've become a super fanatic throughout the years, especially as I've gotten older. Played the game my entire youth. Was very good at wide receiver. Been a student of the game my entire life. And when I tell you that this is the best shot that we have to get back to the NFC Championship game, something I have not witnessed since I was in 3rd grade, 9 years old. This is it. I got some fire to get into real quick, guys. But if you'll just oblige me for a second, indulge me for a second, guys, that red subscribe button that you see right there while you're watching this, it is a free investment. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. You press that button, you help me get to 500. I'm at 384 right now. If y'all can help me get to 500 by the end of the season, which is very doable, with my brothers and sisters that bleed the same blood that I do, help me get to 500 by the end of the season. By the off season, I hit 1,000. I'll be able to start putting back into this channel with a desktop to go with this laptop I just got. Got the mic. The desktop will link to the laptop to have film and graphics while I'm doing a show. Get some studio equipment in here with sound bites and whatnot, and a call-in line. So when I'm doing live shows and we have a good amount of people joining in, you can call in, just like Law Nation's show. For some reason, he's the only one that, consistently does that. Seems like every other person will want to do that too. That's a very important thing to have. People want to be heard. People want to vent. You know what I mean? So I will have a call-in line on my show. And, with the studio equipment, the desktop and all that, you know what I mean? I'll be able to have have this show looking legit professional, like Laws and Mark Holmes, have my own intro music, and all that stuff. Now, I am not a journalist. I'm not like Mike Fisher that covered the Cowboys for 34 years, works at SI. He's at the Star every day. He knows the players. He knows actual facts. He knows, this and that. If you want, news like that, you watch his show, Fish at 6, twice a day. If you want to talk football, talk Cowboys, you know what I mean? This is where you go. Because I can talk Cowboys all day, and I've got this crazy Rolodex in my head. You can bring up any year after, say, since 98. Because after Super Bowl 28, I watched the Cowboys. But 1998 is when I really started retaining information. I was like 12 years old at the time. That was the year we went 10-6. Lost against Arizona in the wild card round 20-7. I've got this crazy Rolodex in my head. You can bring up a year, ask me some questions about it, and I give you exact details. I mean, I absorbed this team into my brain and my body. Fanatic is what it is. We went to Washington yesterday. In the first quarter, they threw the kitchen sink at us. They were trying some Washington voodoo. the opening drive, that trick play where McLaurin was open, man, did Gilmore make a play on that ball? Boy, that was the 2019 Gilmore right there. I mean, that was a walk-in touchdown for Terry on that opening drive, and I mean, Gilmore reads a play, able to get a pass break up, almost intercepted it. Beautiful play. I really hope next week, because he says he'll be good to go, he'll be wearing one of those braces on that right shoulder that will constrict the movement for his right arm. He won't be able to, reach up, normally and whatnot. The brace is there to keep the shoulder from popping back out. His hips and legs are still good and everything. Now he's savvy enough and, has great technique to where I think he'll be okay. He'll be just fine. But that's why I wanted to trade for Jalen Johnson by the trade deadline, who made second team All Pro this season. Second team All Pro, that means he's a top, 6 cornerback. Top 4 corner. And we were too much of a puss to execute the trade. I mean, if they wanted a 2, give him a 2. Because it's the last year of his deal. Let him walk in the offseason and probably get a 3rd round comp pick. So, I mean, you're giving a 2 to get a 3 and a rental and a very good corner that would replace Diggs and get our defense back to what it was in the first 2 weeks. I mean, I don't know if he's as good as Diggs, but he's very close, if not as good. And Blaine would be back in the slot, and we'd be, cover 1 world beaters, But this Green Bay team we have coming in Sunday at 3:25 Central Time, my time. Jordan Love, he knows what playoff atmosphere looks like. He's been to them, Aaron Rodgers, 2021. I think 2020 they made it there also. But he's never played in a playoff game. Romeo Dobbs has not. Christian Watson, the number 1 receiver, has not. The only guys who have playoff experience really is, Jair Alexander, Kenny Clark, Preston Smith, DeAndre Campbell, some of the defensive players. A lot of the guys on offense have not. They don't have left tackle Bakhtiari anymore. They do have right guard John Runyon. If y'all don't remember that guy, which y'all probably don't, this is one of my crazy Rolodex things. John Runyon, his father was acquired by the Eagles in 2001. He was like left guard or something like that. Man, physical, ruthless lineman. I mean, a badass dude. John Runyon. I remember John Madden was head over heels over him. Now I see his son plays now, and he plays for Green Bay as right guard. But the only way we lose this game is if we overlook the team. And in the playoffs, you should never overlook any opponent. I don't care, you saw what happened, 2009, when Seattle won the West at 7-9, and New Orleans came to play them. Seattle had a losing record by 2 games, and I think the Saints, was really looking past them, and the 7-9 NFC West champs beat the Saints. With that ended with that long run by Marshawn Lynch, yeah. And they advanced to the second round. 7-19. Losing team. Back when it was still a 16-game schedule. So you don't overlook anybody. And this will be our get-back revenge game for 2014 and 2016. Them taking, those 2 losses were in the second round. So, they took our championship games away from us twice. So this is a very big revenge game, and a Mike McCarthy revenge game for him getting beat by them last season. And like I said, this team don't have an Aaron Rodgers or a left tackle Bakhtiari anymore. That was an anchor for that team. Now, the weapons they do have that we have to look out for, Aaron Jones. They like to run the football. Our defense has started the season really hot. Mid-season, cooled down a little bit. Now we're starting to get, playing very good again. We stopped that running game. We hold Aaron Jones. Tank Lawrence has become the best run-stopping defensive end I have seen in a long time. And for you starting defensive ends, one of them to be a sack artist and one of them to be a run-stopping artist, it's a pretty good set of bookends right there in 11 and 90. And Hankins is healthy now. He got some reps yesterday, so he'll be ready to roll. Our one tech, Mozzie, is not ready, as we know. He is a project. Hopefully next season, Mozzie, comes out at 330, something like that, and is better. But Hankins is very important, stopping a run. Hopefully Damian Wilson should be ready by this week. 2 weeks to get ready, Lyle Collins, hopefully he's ready to roll too as swing tackle or backup left guard. Tyler, expected to play. Zach Martin, I don't think Zach was sick. I just think he wanted to get a game of rest before going into the playoff game. And as we showed, we didn't need him. And we ran the ball pretty well, even though it was against Washington without Jonathan Allen, their other good defensive tackle. They only had Deron Payne. But if Tony Pollard can run like he did yesterday, he ran Zeke-esque. You know what I mean? He ran physical and tough. After 3 yards, he'd get hit, and he would carry that for another 5 or 6. If Tony Pollard can run hard like that for the next 4 games, even if it shaves a couple years off of his career, that'll be huge. He had, 17 carries, 70 yards, 4.1 yards a carry, and a touchdown. And his backup, Rico Dowdle, had 9 carries, 46 yards, 5.1 yards a carry. Pretty good. You want to average that out, that's about 4.6 yards. We finished the game with 136 on the ground, which is good for us because we're not a great running team. Green Bay has a 28th ranked rushing defense. So early on, if Dak Prescott can back them up with a pass and have them 2 safeties playing back deep, that should open up the run game, especially with our starting 5. Tyron, Tyler, B-Dash, Martin, and Steele. And the coin flip. If we win the coin flip, would y'all rather defer or receive? I'd rather receive. Because if we receive the football to start the game, I know we don't get the ball to start the second half. If we get the football to start the game and march down there and score on the opening drive like we should have done against Miami, that will set the tone for the game right then and there. Especially if it's a 14-play, 6-minute, 7-minute drive. Boom, that sets the tone big time. And then our defense comes out. And if our defense, with 100,000 fans screaming at the top of their lungs, gets a 3 and out, and the offense gets the ball back and gets 3 or 7 on their second drive and went by 2 scores early, then the game could quickly snowball into our favor and become our kind of game where Jordan Love has to drop back 50 times, 55 times, and 11 and 90, and Fowler and company pin their ears back and get after him. We don't want them to slow the game down, run the ball efficiently, and keep our offense off the field to where we only have 8 or 9 total drives in a game. We want to be able to have 15 drives, almost 3 or 4 a quarter. My Monday score prediction for Sunday is, unless, some stupid injury happens or we get really bad news about Gilmore, I'm looking at 41-17. I think our offense puts up 5 touchdowns. Aubrey knocks in 2. And our defense holds that offense at 17 points. 10 points for the most part, and they get a backdoor touchdown in late garbage time in the fourth quarter. I think we're head and shoulders better than this team. And I know it's been 30 years since Detroit has hosted a playoff game. 30 years since they've won the division. In 1993, they were 10-6. They won the NFC Central. Lost to Green Bay 28-24 in that wild card game. That was the last time they hosted a playoff game. It's been 30 years. But I do believe that the Rams are going to come in Sunday night and knock them off. I really do. Matthew Stafford. I mean, a lot of people say Dak Prescott's the best quarterback in the NFC. There's some merit to that, but Matthew Stafford, with his physical gifts, I think is the best quarterback in the NFC. I mean, it's very, very, very close. But Stafford's more accomplished, and he does have the hardware to prove it. I think they beat Detroit. I really do. And that goes into our favor, because if they do that, then they're going to San Fran. Round 2. And we're going to play the winner of Tampa, Philly. And I don't care which one it is. I don't care if Philly barely upsets Tampa or Tampa beats the Eagles. Either of them coming to our house, I think we'll beat either of them down. Especially Philly. The Eagles would be more satisfying. Just see the Eagles win a close game, 17-13. And they start, the Eagles are back. The Eagles are back. Da-da-da-da-da. Because Baker Mayfield had like a really bad game. And they come in our crib, round 2, and we give them another beat down, but worse than the last one. Worse than 33-13. Oh, man. You know how gratifying that would be to be the one to send the Eagles packing. And not just packing, but really, make them quit. Beat them by 30. That would be lovely. And then the path of least resistance would be the Rams beat Detroit, go to San Fran. They know San Fran very well. I know they lost, 9 out of the last 10 games against them. Before yesterday, the backups are playing. But when it counts and it's in the postseason, like 2021, Rams won that game. Albeit they had Jalen Ramsey and, Odell Beckham, all these players that, they sold the farm for, and it was worth it because they won the Super Bowl. But, Sean McVay, very smart coach like Mike Shanahan, and I would not be surprised if the Rams were to go to San Fran round 2 and pull the upset. And that would be the path of least resistance for us, because then we handle business in round 2 against Tampa or Philly. Then we host the championship game against the Rams, the team that we won by 23 after the bye week, 43-20. It's a different Rams team now, but, I think our odds of beating the Rams at home are better than beating the Niners on the road. That's the path of least resistance right there. The most gratifying path, the more difficult path, but the path that would give you the most gratification would be beat down Green Bay, then have Philly come in, have the Rams beat Detroit, so Philly beats Tampa, Philly come in, and we beat them down, just make them want to retire, send them packing, beat them down 42-10, something like that, and then go to San Fran, where the scene of the crime was, and get revenge for the last 3 games and the last 2 playoff exits, and beat them in their own house and keep them out of the Super Bowl. And then go to Vegas, and who do we want to play? What would give us the most gratification to play and beat in the Super Bowl? Buffalo. I spent a lot of money to go all the way up to freaking Orchard Park, watch us get our ass kicked. All those ignorant Buffalo Bill fans all game kept saying, here we go, drunken and skunks, getting on my freaking nerves. I'm like, y'all are winning, be happy y'all are winning, y'all lucky bastards. We sat there, me and my buddy, even till the fourth quarter when it started raining, started pouring down. We sat there in that rain. We sat there until Buffalo took those two knees and the clock hit triple zeros and took the losses like men. Then left the stadium. Couldn't get an Uber or a Lyft because it was so packed. So we found Buffalo's Best Grill and went there, ate. No, we actually went to a different restaurant. Walked to it also. And finally there was an Uber available to take us to our room. We slept. Oh man, that was a tough trip. You spend money, and I live in Houston, and you go cross country to watch your team play. You want to see them win, to see them live. I mean, the experience was cool. Like I keep saying, Highmark Stadium is so freaking small. The high school stadiums here in Texas are bigger, so you can see everything so clearly, like up close. I mean, that was a cool thing about it. Unlike AT&T Stadium, if you're in the top row, you're watching the screen because you can't even really see where the ball's out on the field. You're so high up. Well, we were in the top row in Buffalo and could still see everything. I mean, I could see the ball. I could see every player's jersey number, their name. I mean, it was like perfect, except the game itself. But beating Buffalo for the third time in our history to get ring number 6, that would be the most gratifying path to winning the Super Bowl. Beat Green Bay, get a revenge on them, beat Philly, just, stick it up their A again, them and their fans. To beat San Fran, one of our bitter conference rivals from the 80s, 90s, and now that is rekindled. And then in Vegas, beat Buffalo. Get a revenge for 2019 Thanksgiving. That ruined my Thanksgiving that year. And, reimburse me for my damn money I spent for that damn trip. Beating them in the Super Bowl. That would be the most gratifying road to the Super Bowl. Now the path of least resistance. Beat Green Bay. Beat Tampa or Philly. And then host the Rams in the championship game, which would be easier than going to San Fran, like I said. And then in Vegas, if we make it to Vegas, say Houston shocks everybody. It makes it out of the AFC, and it's a Texas Super Bowl. I think we could beat the Texans. That'd be the path of least resistance. The Texans or Pittsburgh. Say Pittsburgh upsets Buffalo and, comes out of the AFC. That would be the path of least resistance. But that's all just talk, fun talk, just my mind wandering. But you want to go into the postseason with momentum. I think we did that. We had a total of 440 yards, 309 yards in the air, 131 on the ground. We averaged over 6.5 yards a play, 6 to 10 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth. We only had 2 flags. Guys, we got penalized twice, and that was it. That's how you play football. A clean game. And that was only 20 yards worth of penalties. 2 flags. If we could do that throughout the playoffs, we'll be in good shape. Time of possession, 33:55 to 26:05. We only allowed 180 total yards. Pretty good. 130 through the air. We only allowed 50 on the ground. Now, Green Bay, their offense averages 22.9 points a game, ranked 11th in the league. They average 340 yards a game on offense. That's 13th ranked in the league. 5.5 yards a play, ranked 9th. Third down percentage, 46%. That's ranked number 5. You would think that'd be ranked lower, but pretty that's good, I'm assuming. On fourth down, they're 50%, so that's ranked 14th. Red zone scoring percentage is 51%. That's ranked 19th. They're not very good in the red zone. We're actually better than they are in the red zone. And touchdowns per game, 2.6, ranked 8th. Now the defense, they allow 21.3 points a game. That's 14th in the league. They allow 344 yards a game on average. That's ranked 22nd. They allow yards per game. Yeah, about 5.4 yards per play is 22nd. Third down percentage, they allow 45% third downs. That's ranked 9th. So they're pretty good third down defense. We're a great third down offense and defense. On fourth down, they're 52%. That's ranked 14th. And they average giving up 2.3 touchdowns a game. That's ranked 15th in the league. Now you look at us. Our points per game, 29.4. That is second in the league. Our yards per game, 367. That's 6th in the league. Our yards per play, 5.6. That's 8th. Third down percentage is 47.73%. That's 3rd in the league. Fourth down percentage, 54.5%. That's 12th. Red zone percentage, 54.5%. That's 17th in the league. And touchdowns per game, 3.3. It's 4th best in the league. One more thing. Our defense, they allow 19.1 points a game on average. That's ranked 6th. Pretty good. Our defense allows under 20 points a game. 19.1 to be precise. After allowing 42 against San Fran, 31 against Buffalo, and 35 against Seattle. Those are 3 high-scoring games we allowed, and still, our average is 19. We allow 307 yards per game on defense, 8th in the league. Yards per play, 5.1. That's 11th in the league. Third down, we allow 38% on third down. That is ranked 16, it says. Don't seem right. Fourth down, we allow 48%, 16th. Red zone scoring rate, we allow 56%. That's 21st in the league. Red zone defense could be better. And touchdowns per game, we allow 2.2. That's 12th in the league. That's us in Green Bay team rankings. Our offense is very prolific. Watson will probably play on Sunday, but coming off a hamstring injury, it'll probably still be tender. And I know he won't be 100%, but he's going to play because it's the playoffs. And he's fast. You got to watch that. Young guys with speed can burn you. He did that last season when it was, we're up 24-14 in the fourth. And both those touchdowns went from Rodgers to Watson. But I believe he was going up against Nashawn Wright or someone like that. But yeah, it's a great victory Monday, guys. Number 2 seed. I wish I don't like the new playoff format. I don't like 7 seeds. I like the old format where the top 2 seeds got a bye week. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. And maybe the bye week can hurt you sometimes. Maybe it's not the best thing always. As we've seen, 1 seed teams get the bye week. Especially like San Fran. San Fran took yesterday off. So they're going to be off for 2 weeks. No ball for 2 weeks. So they're going to come back in the divisional round not playing football for 2 weeks. That could cause rust. Now the Rams took the bye week yesterday. That's just 1 week. 1 week's doable. They're going to play next weekend. So the Rams are going to, they beat Detroit. They'll be going into San Fran fresh and ready in football, coming off a game. Niners, 2 weeks off in a row. Not the best idea. I mean, we did that in 2007. We didn't play week 17, and we did that 2016. We didn't play week 17, which we probably should have. We had Romo start the game. He engineered a touchdown drive to Terrence Williams. That was his last, drive of his career. It was a touchdown drive. He dropped the mic, walked off, and then they put in whoever the backup was at that time. The backup in 2016, Kellen Moore, I think, was the backup. But, yeah, so I think San Fran should have played yesterday. Should have played the guys and just had one bye week. Because having 2 bye weeks, 2 weeks off, can cause rust and can be very dangerous to your team. I don't care who you are. The Giants in 2007, they were 10-5. No, they were 10-5 going into week 17 against the Patriots. Patriots were 15-0. They were going for the undefeated season, so the Patriots were, playing their guys, which also goes to my point. They had the number 1 seed already locked up, but instead of sitting their guys and having 2 weeks off, they were playing week 17. So did the Giants. The Giants had nothing to gain, but they played week 17 against the Patriots and lost 38-31. But playing against the Patriots and losing by 1 touchdown and keeping that momentum going, they carried that into the playoffs with them and had one of the best playoff runs I had ever seen in my life. Go to Tampa Bay. Beat Tampa. Go to the number 1 seed Cowboys, even though Owens was a non-factor and, broken leg. Beat the Cowboys in Texas Stadium. And after that, go to the number 2 seed, Green Bay, Lambeau Field, super cold, win that game in double overtime, and then go to the Super Bowl to the 18-0 Patriots and knock them off. That's one of the greatest playoff runs ever. Show me one better than that. I mean, you're talking about an underdog, 6 seed, going all the way, on the road, playing the hardest teams there are. Being that they were the 6th seed, that means that Tampa was the 3 seed. So they beat the 3 seed, the 1 seed, and the 2 seed, and then the 1 seed from the AFC who happened to be undefeated, 18-0. I mean, that's just still remarkable to me. That shows you what a defensive front can do also. Michael Strahan, O.C. Minora, Justin Tuck. I mean, them boys, they had some bad boys on that D-line, man. Some bad boys. I wanted to go live last night. I didn't have the time, so wanted to just make a video today, touch base with y'all guys. Please subscribe. I cannot implore that enough. Hit that red free subscribe button, guys. It means everything to me. Help me get to 500 by the end of this season, which hopefully will go into February. I can get there with y'all's help. Please hit the like button and share this content, guys. If you share this content, then more eyes will get to see it. Jump on the Charles in Charge Cowboy Sports Report. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Subscribe. If you don't like my content after a couple shows, then unsubscribe. Like I said, it's free. It costs you nothing, guys. But I guarantee you, I live, breathe, and eat everything blue and silver. I mean, with me, it's God, family, Cowboys, country. That's the order it goes in with me. I live and die with every game. I take it serious. I mean, like November 9th when we lost that Philly, when we should have won 6 yards away from winning and we lost that game, it took me all week to recover. It really did. I mean, that loss really was a gut punch. And in Buffalo, I mean, if it wasn't for the traveling to Buffalo and the whole experience, which was fun, the loss would have really, really bothered me a lot more than it did. And then Miami, Miami wasn't a must-win game. I kept telling everybody that. It was just to get confidence on the road in case we happen to be the 5 seed. So losing to Miami did piss me off. It only took me about 3 days to bounce back from. After about 3 days, I was back to normal because I knew that it was not a must-win game. It was an AFC opponent. And I was right. I kept telling everybody we can lose this game and, beat Detroit and Washington and still win our division. And that's exactly what happened. And get the 2 seed. So we're in great shape, guys. Be excited. Be very excited. This is not last year. This is not 2021. This is this year. Every year is different. And we got some guys on this year that have championship caliber, have hardware, and know what it takes to get there. And those guys will be the guys leading this team to where we got to go. And Dak, I've been his biggest critic since 2019 whenever he started pulling that contract crap after he beat 3 bad teams to start the season, 3-0. And then he finishes 8-8. But he is starting to come into his own now. And this season has been his best season he's ever had. Better than 2021 when he had 37 touchdowns and 10 picks. Better than that season. Prescott is seeing the field better. He is doing everything. But this new West Coast offense seems to fit him like a glove. It really does. Even Aaron Rodgers says, this is the year that he's watched the most football in a long time. And that he enjoys watching Dak play the quarterback position because he's playing it the way you're supposed to. And the cadence that he came up with, here we go, just genius, And CeeDee Lamb, even Michael Irvin, the playmaker, that said CeeDee Lamb is becoming and probably will be the best 88 out of all of them so far. Better than Pearson, Irvin, and Dez. I agree with him too. I mean, he broke the single season franchise record for receptions and yards. Michael Irvin set that at 95. And, he shattered it. Now, he did it in 16 games. Yesterday was just bonus yards. But, Dez couldn't play in the slot. Michael definitely wouldn't play in the slot. Lamb could play anywhere on the field. I mean, he is becoming an all-world receiver. Better than A.J. Brown. Yeah, I said it. A.J. Brown, bigger, more physical maybe, but CeeDee Lamb is a better pure receiver. Shoot, man, no Cowboys receiver or tight end has ever led the NFL in receptions. CeeDee Lamb will be the first. He came into the game yesterday with 122. He had 13 catches. So he ends the season with 135 balls. 135. The closest one to him going into yesterday was Tyreek and one other guy. And that was 110. So they were 12 balls away. So, yeah. So he finished the regular season number 1 in receptions, number 2 in yardage. I mean, and I'm surprised that he didn't demand a contract in the offseason. But it's working out for him because this season he's putting together now, if he signed a contract this offseason, it would pale in comparison to the contract he's going to get this coming offseason. Because this season he's putting on now is, last season was really good, but this season just transcends every other, season a Cowboys receiver has had. He is something special. CeeDee Lamb has become something very special. And I believe trading Amari Cooper away, I still think doing it for a 5th round pick was stupid because we draft super well. If we could have got a 1st, a 2nd, or even a 3rd, do that. You know what I mean? Because we got the vanilla gorilla for him, and he plays for Washington now. We lost him we put him on the PS. So it was dumb. But getting rid of Cooper made Lamb the number 1 and forced him to become better last season. Took him half the year last year to get the hang of being the number 1. But once he got the hang of it, he took off and he's running with it. And he had this season that he had with the first 5 games of having a very, very soft, conservative offense. And then after the San Fran game, he respectfully went to Mike McCarthy and said, I respectfully would like to get the ball more. And then since week 6, from now, he's just been on a tear. That's it for this episode, guys. I try not to go super long. It's 40 minutes. Keep God first and foremost, guys. He comes before everything, even this. Seek him and his righteousness, and all these other things will be added unto you. I am a living testimony of that. I can see that. Yeah, I'm gonna start saying it at the beginning of my videos, because my job, every believer's job, to spread the word. But the old joke I like is that we're America's team, but we're also God's team. That's why Texas Stadium had just a hole in the roof. So after church, God could go to Texas Stadium, didn't have to use X-ray vision. He could just look down and watch his team play on Sunday. I always love that story. All right, guys, that's it for this episode. Subscribe, like, and share this content. And it's all gravy, baby. First class content all day, every day. Charles in Charge, Cowboy Sports Report is outie. Charles in Charge, Cowboy Sports Report is outie 500. That's a good one.